Thank you very much, Chrissy. As a Fremantle local, welcome. It's great to see an event like this in the Port City. It's a great opportunity to present Helix Resources. We're an early stage discovery company following the restructure that Chrissy described. We're solely focused on the Cobar region, predominantly on copper. For an early stage exploration company, we're very well funded. We have $8.6 million cash, and we're deploying that cash on a 2,000 square kilometre large strategic land position, which contains 2 advanced projects with mineral resources. I'm also really proud of the exploration team that we've put together, which are actually locally based, virtually on the doorstep of the project, and fully committed and intellectually invested in bringing good science and good geology to this large land position that we have. We've raised over $20 million in the last 2 years, and that enables us to undertake both regional exploration and advanced project exploration. Traditionally, the company tended to be undercapitalised, and I think that brings a different modus operandi, perhaps a little bit of a hand-to-mouth existence. This is the neighbourhood in which we're focused. This is prodigiously endowed with copper, base metals, gold and silver as well. We have 2 large tenement areas here, overlying key mineralised structures. To our north, you'll notice Aeris Resources Triton operations. They've been mining, finding deposits there for the last 30 odd years with a run rate of around 25,000 tonnes of copper production a year. And to our west is the CSA mine, currently owned by Glencore, but being transitioned to a new owner for $1.1 billion US. This is a magnificent ore body, over 1.5 million tonnes of copper endowment, and probably one of the highest grade copper mines in the world, with a resource grade around 5%. To our south and east, we have emerging projects. We have existing operations with Aurelia and Peels on the development pathway. So this is a great neighbourhood, a very prospective neighbourhood to be focused. As you drive along the sealed roads between Cobar and Nyngan and east to Orange, there's power lines, railway lines, and you've got the choice of one of 6 processing plants, all of which are suitable for processing the type of mineralisation that we have on our projects. And that creates real optionality in terms of those commercialisation options. This is a view of our tenements, and what you can see here is the outlines of the key tenement positions, and we've identified 3 key structural mineralised trends. We have the Rochford trend, to the east we have the Colorina trend, and on the west we have the earlier stage Miriola trend. I've coloured that map up with the VTEM. Darren referred to cutting edge science. Only a few weeks after starting with Helix, we raised $3 million. We spent nearly $1 million on flying that VTEM survey. VTEM, electromagnetic surveys, the conductivity of the rocks, is a key discovery tool in this region. How can we undertake good quality regional work if we don't have a data set to be able to rank and prioritise our targets? We do now. I'd like to focus in on this Rochford trend. This is probably where we've done the most of our work. In the central portion of the Rochford trend, we have our key project, the Canbelligo copper project. It's a joint venture with Aeris. The exploration model that we're chasing is Cobar-style mineralisation. Small surface footprint, great vertical extent, often parallel repeat lodes, and importantly, high grade. That's what we're targeting, and that's what I think we're onto here on our Canbelligo prospects, and let's see what you think. In this map view, the brown is copper and soil anomalism, and the red hatching represents mineralisation. On the right, we have the outline of the mineral resource at Canbelligo, and to the left, just in the last year or so, we've identified parallel lode structures west of that, within some hundreds of metres. So this is starting to look and smell a little bit like a Cobar-style system. If we have a look at a long section through the deposit, this is what it looks like. And this part of the slide, first 200 metres, is pretty much what was there when we arrived when the new team got established in early 21. A mineral resource going down about 200 vertical metres, 1.5 million tonnes, 1.2% copper. If it's a co-bar style system, let's drill beneath it, let's see what we get. So we drilled the next 200 metre panel. And yes, as you can see by that green outline, which is the main Cambelago host shear structure, we hit some good higher grade shoots. That 18 metres at 3.4% copper, we didn't even have to announce the assay. We just showed a photograph of the core and our share price went from 1 to 5 cents. That's the kind of leverage that exploration success in a junior offers investors. So we're starting to establish the depth continuity now 200 metres beneath the base of the mineral resource. What happens beneath that? And that was the challenge that I put to the exploration team. Let's be bold, let's step down another couple of 100 metres. So we drilled 2 holes 200 metres apart, north-south. Those holes are really important. Does that shear zone structure persist another 200 metres down? Yes, the results showed that it did. But importantly, those 2 drill holes provided a platform for downhole geophysics. More conductivity surveys. Are we able to pick up conductive targets? Copper ore bodies can be conductive. And we were very excited to report that we had delineated very large scale, high order conductive plates off the surveys of those 2 holes in areas that had never been drilled before. These are not the easiest drilling conditions here, and we had a couple of goes at drilling them. And then finally, last week, we were able to announce that we hit the central portion of those conductive plates. We released the results where we had intersected 14 metres with visible copper sulphide mineralisation, including a metre or so of this semi-massive chalcopyrite, that's the copper mineral. And this is what we think these plates are representing is high-grade copper shoots, and we're starting to see that in the drill core. These assays are pending, but this drill core looks a lot like drill intercepts 200 metres vertically above. And obviously we're hopeful that this will all join up and we'll really now be able to define these high-grade shoots with strong depth extent. We want to be on a development pathway. It's all very well drilling good results, but what does it all mean in terms of the resource potential? In October of last year, we recognised the opportunity to perhaps identify some high-grade shoots within the upper portion of the Cambelago system, and we hit 16 metres at 3.2% copper. That's the highest grade intercept above about 150 vertical metres. Earlier this year, we drilled 7 RC holes to follow that up, and 5 of those RC holes intersected significant visual copper sulphide mineralisation. Assays are pending. So that creates really exciting potential to increase our copper inventory at shallow levels within the overall outline of the existing resource by increasing the grade. Let's see how that turns out, but I think that's one strong potential. Secondly, we have the obvious potential to drive the mineralisation deeper, using our downhole electromagnetic surveys and models to be able to model the high-grade shoots and hit that. And right now we have a drill rig working away, drilling a parent hole that we can daughter off and test that. And thirdly, we have the potential to, whether those western lodes are Cambelago style lookalikes. So I think there's a lot of excitement there in terms of our ability to develop that resource. In terms of planned activities, a lot of the news flow is going to focus around what we're doing at Cambelago, a lot of pending assays, and a mineral resource update that we have due, I'd say, before the end of the June quarter. And I think that's going to put us on that platform in terms of development pathways. I also want to emphasise that we have a very active regional exploration program. It was a core part of the fundraising. There's no point in standing up here and saying, oh, we've got lots and lots of underexplored ground, if I'm back here in 2 years saying, we've got lots of underexplored ground. The point is, get out there and explore it. Regional exploration is fundamental to what we're doing. So now moving to the east, we have the Colorina trend. This is an 80-kilometre mineralised trend that extends south of Aeris's Triton operations. We have there a helix discovery, the CZ copper deposit, 2 million tonnes at 2% copper and a little bit of gold. We have a range of regional targets, and we also have a nickel cobalt asset, which I'll talk about briefly. The mineralisation here basically is a plunging chute, but with some very high-grade copper sulfide along it, as well as some oxide material near the surface. It looks a lot like Aeris's Constellation discovery to the north. That was an EM discovery, an aerial EM discovery. And discovered in December of 2019, and here we are now. They've delineated a resource of just under 7 million tonnes, around 2%. This is the style of mineralisation that we're looking for as well in CZ. We've had to do a lot of catch-up work here in terms of some of the geological interpretation. That model is coming together now, and what we're seeing is that we have this chute that's plunging off to the northeast. There's some seriously good grades there. You can see 11 metres at 6.6%, 12 metres at 5, and that's consistently down the plunge of that chute. We did some drilling here recently, and in the surface areas, we also discovered high-grade shallow intercepts, 7 metres at 2.6% copper with some gold. And I'm really interested to see whether or not this shallow oxide mineralisation that we intercepted could be another parallel plunging chute position. So along this trend, we have a heap of targets. As I said, regional exploration is really important to us. When I started, we had drought-breaking rains and a lot of active farming activity, which was hampering our access to test our early-stage targets. In 2022, we had a lot of flooding rain, and crop salvaging, if you like, which was also having an impact on our exploration activities. But now we are getting on the ground's drying, and we're really excited to be able to finally get on and test some of these targets that we're looking at. Just in wrapping up, we have some significant nickel cobalt assets that we're packaging up in a holding company called Ionic Metals. We have the Homeville nickel deposit, about 19 million tonnes at 0.9% nickel, 0.06% cobalt. It's got really good grade for a laterite deposit, but it doesn't really have the tonnes. When we look in our database, we find lots of prospects proximal to Homeville with good thicknesses, shallow, high-grade laterite nickel, really exciting cobalt assays, and we're looking to package all of that up and put that into a different vehicle, probably through an IPO. We do have a sustainability platform. Modern language is ESG. It's something we grow into as our activities develop. Quick snapshot is, unusually for a junior explorer, we have around 20-25% institutional presence on the share register. I think that belies the active nature of the Cobar district. And with 2,323 million shares on issue and the current share price, market cap around $20 million. Over half of our money goes directly into drilling, and over 90% goes into exploration. And just in wrapping up, because I can see that Chrissy's standing and I'm almost on time, what Helix offers is leverage to early stage exploration success. We've got the money, we've got the ground, we've got an excellent team, and we've got the targets, and now we're getting on the ground. So we're exposed to advanced projects and regional exploration success. Thanks very much.